everybody, and welcome to our Unlocking Easy Money Management with iKhokha Accounting webinar. We always love these, especially when it comes to accounting, when we're completely out of our depths. I am Cindy. I'm going to be hosting this evening, and with me I have Taylor Danridge. Taylor is from our partner Stub. Stub was co-founded with herself, Stu, Alex, Dill, and they all have a rich history and career in financial services, and now on a mission to build super simple accounting software. We also have Mark Morris. Mark is the product manager that looks after our merchant dashboard, which hopefully you have all logged into and have worked with, and hopefully it's making your lives easier. If not, I'm happy to send you his email address. Kidding. And then we also have Tawanda, who's the product designer for the dashboard. Tawanda is the person who makes sure that you can navigate the dashboard easily and get all the information surface that you need. So welcome, everybody. Before I hand over to any of you, some housekeeping. Unfortunately, none of our attendees will be able to go on screen, but you have access to the chat, and we encourage you to please ask as many questions as possible. There's a Q&A section as well as a chat section in there. And as part of an icebreaker, Taylor had a really good idea so that we understand the people on the call. Maybe you can drop in the chat for those attending what you sell, what kind of business you're in, and also where you're based. We'd love to understand the people on the call and what kind of businesses you have running. So please do chat to us there. As part of that introduction, I'm going to hand over to Taylor to tell us a little bit more about Stub and how you came about creating Stub. Welcome, Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you, Sins. I don't know if people have access to the chat, but my chat won't let me type. I was going to pop in accounting software and London, but I guess that's probably just sort of the start of my intro. So hello, everybody. It's really nice to meet you, and I'm super excited to be on this call and tell you a little bit more about iKhokha Accounting, Stub, why we built it, and why we sort of do what we do. So I think why did we build iKhokha Accounting? Why did we decide to go on to this mission with iKhokha? And I think it's super closely aligned to why we decided to build sort of Stub in the first place. And it was initially born when we looked at the tools that were available for entrepreneurs who were building and making things in the world. And we realized very quickly that they didn't have the tools that they needed to build and run successful businesses, specifically from a cash flow management and understanding your finances perspective. And that was one thing that we really wanted to change. We also believed that every single entrepreneur had the right to understand exactly what was going on in their business at any point in time. And I'm sure you guys have had a moment in your trade or in your day when you've been like, sure, but I just wish I knew how my business was performing today, or did I do better today than I did yesterday, or how am I tracking this month versus last month? And those are some of the things that we sort of went on a mission to sort of try and help and sort of solve. So why now? And why have we decided that it's a really good time to come into the market and to try help you guys? And I think I'm sure you guys have looked at a piece of software from an accounting perspective or heard about it or sniffed it. But what we realized was that existing tools in the market today are actually incredibly complex and hard to use. And you almost feel like you need a finance degree of some shape or form to understand how to use that tool. So we set out on a mission to try and build something that was super simple. If you knew how to sell your goods or services, you'd know how to use Stub and iKhokha Accounting. And that's what we sort of aimed at. We also knew that existing accounting software didn't speak to the tools that you used every day in your trade. So let's say you used an iKhokha point of sale device in your liquor store or in your tavern, or I'm trying to see what some of you guys do, which is really cool, in your carpentry jobs or in healthcare or wherever you are, and you're running sales through that device. Those sales were never talking to a piece of accounting software, so it was really hard to tie those numbers together. With this product, you'll be able to easily sync your sales transactions with your bank transactions, which will help paint a really holistic view of what's going on in your finances. We also knew that running a business was incredibly expensive and that we needed to provide a tool that would help entrepreneurs access this information at a more affordable rate. So what we've tried to do is to create a product that's more accessible to entrepreneurs in their everyday life. The question on everybody's lips: why must I buy accounting software? What does it do and how will it help me? So I think there's a couple of practical examples around if you want to access credit in your business and in your business or in your personal capacity as an entrepreneur, that is often really tough. So I think coming from a background in banking, we often saw that entrepreneurs who came to the bank to apply for finance, it was often a more lengthy process, and the bank is looking for things like your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, your cash flow statement. They're trying to understand how much your business is making and how much your business is spending, so there's a level of affordability. There's a tax compliance element when it comes to lending as well. And obviously bookkeeping or keeping track of those finances makes that process a lot easier as well. And I think from, I don't know actually the right words to put this, but the main reason there's stub, there's a compliance element, there's a digital record element. But I think the main reason why we do what we do is really to help entrepreneurs build more successful businesses. And I think that's where the power of iKhokha accounting and the tool really comes in, is how do we help you understand what the cash that's coming into your business and the cash that's leaving your business, and where are you at any point in time, in turn enabling you to grow, plan, and really thrive. So I guess that's sort of it in a nutshell, Sins. I can go into things a little bit more, but I think maybe if we dive into the demo or go into that, I can jump on some of those pieces as well.
Yes, of course. While, and thank you for sharing that with us. I think hopefully a lot of the business owners on this call appreciate what you guys are building, because even when I was looking for some cheesy accounting jokes, I didn't even understand the jokes, so I'm not even going to tell them. So that's how far I think accounting is to most of us, for most of us. And I think especially a business owner, I think they have good ideas. And accounting is probably one of the last things we often think about, but one of the most important things for a successful small business. So I get the importance, but I think often it's just too complicated to get started.
Yeah.
So I guess
definitely.
my next question is for Mark, and I've introduced him to some extent. Mark, how did the partnership come about, and how did iKhokha accounting surface in our dashboard? How did you get to this point?
Cool. Thanks, Cindy. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join us. This all came about, Cindy, with the work that we want to do with the dashboard. So we want to set the dashboard up for every entrepreneur in South Africa to use it to really manage and grow their business. And it's something that we are very passionate about. So everything that we are doing is tailored towards helping entrepreneurs understand the money that's coming in and going out of their business. How do they use that money to grow their business? So what is the profit they're seeing on a daily basis, weekly basis? How do we help them manage their cash flow so that they can buy stock and pay suppliers and carry on running their business? So it starts off with the accounting stuff, and there's really exciting stuff in the pipeline. But yeah, that's the partnership that we have with Stub. iKhokha loves helping entrepreneurs in South Africa, and there's nothing better than working a homegrown startup Stub to help entrepreneurs.
No one knows us better than us, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. And I know that you and Tawanda are going to take us through the offering in a little bit later. I think some key call outs, I think that's really important for the audience to know is obviously that we have the 30-day free trial, and that gives our merchants the opportunity to try the product before they buy. And thereafter, it's at a minimal price point of 189 Rand a month subscription. And I've looked around in my competitor analysis and looked and seen there is nothing more affordable out there in this range. So it obviously is a no-brainer from that perspective. And the free trial is obviously a good opportunity to try before you buy. So definitely encourage that. And often we learn better when we visualize something. So if someone in the team can just pop the dashboard URL into the chat, and if any of the people on the call want to follow the journey, Mark is going to be playing the role of a merchant, and Tawanda is going to be guiding us through the dashboard to have a look and see how easy it is to activate it, and then how to organize it correctly so that you can extrapolate the right insight from this. So should we take it away? Thanks.
Thanks, Cindy. Good evening, everyone. So yeah, we're just gonna jump right into the demo. As mentioned, instead of us just walking you through how to get this product, me and Mark figured it would be good if we played. Mark played the role of a merchant, and I played the role of the iKhokha representative, and walk him through how to acquire this product. And we're hoping through this journey we'll answer some of the questions, but also pique your curiosity for you guys to pop even more questions for us in the chat, and hopefully you can walk away with something from the webinar. Cool. So yeah, Mark, just to kick off, maybe, well, actually you don't have to pretend, because you actually do run a side hustle, don't you?
Yeah, thanks, Tawanda. And I've got a side hustle. I run some rental properties, and I use Stub and iKhokha to manage all the finances. It's just really important for me to understand how much those properties are making every month, and if it's still a worthwhile investment. So yeah, we're going to use that this evening as a guide to go through IK accounting.
Perfect. And Mark, currently, how do you manage your finances in your business?
Well, I currently use an Excel spreadsheet. I've got to export transactions from my business bank account, and I use Excel to do it with some rudimentary calculations. But it's not perfect. It's not giving me like a proper reflection of what's happening.
Okay. And Mark, did you know you can manage your finances via the iKhokha dashboard?
Well, I do now, and it's quite an interesting part of what the offering is all about, right? Because I looked around quite a bit, and I was using some other accounting software previously, which was a lot more expensive, and I needed to do that because my side hustle is registered, and I've got to submit some information to my accountant to run the. So I'd have to spend hours at the end of every year trying to collate everything. And I need something that actually just works really well on my iKhokha profile and automates my transactions from my bank account. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what this is all about.
Perfect. Hopefully I can help your business in some way today. Cool. So yeah, to begin, Mark, if you don't mind popping your screen and just navigating to iKhokha.com, where we can start the journey on accessing this accounting product.
Okay, cool. Let me just. All right. Can you see this one?
And everyone else on the call? Yeah, I can. Is the connection good? I think I'm okay, perfect. Anyone in the audience, please feel free to follow us. So we're on iKhokha.com. If you got your phone, you can take it out and follow along with us. So Mark, to kick off your journey, it's very simple. Go to iKhokha.com. At the top there, you've got various menu items. Today we'll focus on the manage and grow, where IK accounting sits. So if you can just navigate to IK accounting.
Cool. This looks really great. So where do I go from here?
Cool. So we have a dedicated accounting page on our website where you can read more about what you get with the product, all the benefits, and how it works. And to start off the journey, you can just click Start Free Trial. As Cindy mentioned, we're giving you 30 days free. So it's basically a risk-free bet, because if you don't like it, you can cancel. But we hope you stay along, because we've managed to provide enough value to your business. So yeah, we can just get started by clicking Start Free Trial.
Cool. Let's go ahead. Okay. All right, cool. So where do I go from here? This is the dashboard that I'm used to. How do I get to the accounting side?
Cool. So we have various options. Depending on whether you've logged into the dashboard recently or not, you'll be able to view a banner right at the top, just asking you to view your accounting product. But that's not the only way to access. You can also go to subscriptions. So some of you might have not logged into the dashboard. There's a new section called subscriptions, where you can also find the accounting product there. And you can click Start Free Trial to begin the journey. So Mark, your banner was supposed to pop up, but I'm not sure why. But again, we do have a backup for you to jump into that journey.
Cool. This looks really interesting. So what do I get? Like, it says I need to pay 189 per month, expat. There's a 30-day free trial. What am I actually going to be getting with this package?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mark. So I always view it as you've got 5 to 6 things that I can call out. And I think, Taylor, I'll hand over to you in a bit to expand on that. But firstly, you're getting access to your cash flow. So we've got a cash flow. So we've got a cash flow graph. You've got a profit and loss card. You've got income and expenses. So that means instead of trying to export your transactions from your bank account, putting them into Excel, copying from some notebooks for your cash payments, this can all flow through this dashboard through your income and expenses. So that's the first bit. You got your income and expenses, which leads into your cash flow. So you can see, periods where your cash flow positive and periods where your cash flow negative. So you can better plan for that ahead. And then ultimately, we want to take the hassle out of this. We don't want you to come here and so you can connect your bank account. We support all the major banks in South Africa. So you can just connect your bank account. Your transactions are pulled straight into the dashboard. And as time goes on, we learn to categorize them based on the categories that you've set for your initial transactions. And there's much more that I'll let Taylor touch on, but I'm hoping that's enough for you to at least start the free trial. All right. I mean, it's 30 days free. Just, yeah.
Cool. Let's go for it. All right. So I'm going to go through the activation process. It's kind of just setting up my account now. That's what it looks like. I'm not going to take the tour because I really want to get into the product. I'm pretty keen to see how things work and kind of put it all together. So what am I looking at now? Like, what are all these graphs?
Yeah, so as mentioned, obviously you just signed up for the product, so there's no information in the graph, but you're looking at the cash flow widget where we'll show you cash in and cash out, and you can see those peaks and troughs in your business. which will allow you to better plan. And then on the right-hand side, you've got the profit widget. So that will give you a good idea of the profit in your business, and that's broken down into categories that are quite important when it comes to financial reporting. So you got your sales, you got your cost of goods sold, operating expenses, some other income would fall under there that is not categorized as sales, and your taxes and deductions. And then underneath that is where the data that feeds into the two widgets on top comes from. So ultimately, your transactions are broken down into income and expenses. Underneath that, you've got categories that sit underneath that, but ultimately, it's either you're getting an income or an expense. So as a start, you can try and add an income or an expense mark just to have a look at how that experience is like. So you can just add an income for us. So you manually add your income. Maybe it might be a cash transaction that happened in your business.
Okay, cool. All right. So let me have a look at where we are now in October. Check that out. Okay, so what if I see the transactions that are coming through my bank account? How do I do that?
This is the interesting part. So as mentioned, you can connect your bank account. So using those the icons on any one of the widgets on the right, if you click that, you have an option to connect your bank account.
Okay,
so there
cool.
You can click connect, which will kick you into a connect bank account journey.
Cool. So I mean, I'm kind of used to this happening. I use 24/7 to manage my personal finances. So I'm kind of used to this screen that I'm seeing at the moment. This is, I've done this a couple of times. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to stop sharing. Just don't want to share username and password on the webinar. So let me do this quickly.
Why not? Share your information with everybody.
Yeah, and then we can put it on the internet afterwards. That would be really awesome. Cool. So I'm just gonna log in, and as soon as that's done, then I'll share again.
While you're doing that,
Yeah,
I think I
go.
might just reiterate. I put something in the chat, but if you've got any questions, if anybody in the audience has any questions, please pop them in the chat. And hopefully you don't have any issues accessing the chat. It seems some people are struggling, so hopefully that's not the case.
Thanks, Cindy. So it's retrieving my data from my bank accounts. I use Time Bank for. It's really great just for my personal account, and now they've got a business account option. So I've set up my business account there, which just makes it easier for me if I need to perhaps transfer money between the two, but also just accessing them on one app is really great. So it's going to fetch the data from my Time Bank account. It's probably going to pick up all the other accounts as well, and then we can just check which one I want to display on the dashboard, and we can go from there. Yeah. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, I was going to just jump in there and say, as you can see on the screen, we do mention that this can take up to a few minutes to connect as the two systems talk to each other. The banking system is quite well, and you can stop talking. It just finished. Cool.
Cool.
So yeah, you can select. So it will load all the accounts in your Time Bank, and then you just have to select the one you want to add to your dashboard.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to connect my business account. That don't really want my personal account getting mixed up with my business finances. So let me confirm that. Cool. Now it's asking me to sync. The UI is super intuitive. Hey? It's just really easy for me to understand what I need to do here. I love the fact that there's not a lot for you to deal with at one point in time. It's kind of like really guiding you through the process. That's really great. It's quite smooth. The experience is quite smooth. It's because I'm used to doing this on other platforms, right? It's also just something that you're not going to do you wouldn't be doing it on certain platforms. But I mean, there we go. It's right into there. And let me go back to the accounting side. Okay, cool. So I can see some data's come through now to wonder. So what are these? What does this mean? The uncategorized income.
Yeah. So Obviously, we've put all your transactions from your income and expenses. I'm hoping my connection is a bit better. But yeah,
Yeah, much better.
yeah. So we've put all your transactions from your bank account, but we need your help to categorize them. So as you categorize more transactions, our system will learn and start to do that categorization automatically. But as you start, you just need to tell us how to allocate the income or expense so that it's correctly the financial reporting is correct.
Okay, cool. So let me go
Yeah.
through these. They don't seem to have any categories against them. So let me just have a look at the categories here. I think this is an inter-account transfer. Well, that's not for my business account. I'm gonna put that down as a loan because it'll be a loan for me. That's actually
Yeah.
where I should be putting it.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's various categories. So there should be enough. There should be a category for any type of transactions that you have occurring in the business. And I think this is a nice segue to maybe hand over to Taylor just to talk about more of the advanced features of this product and why that categorization is important to get right ultimately for financial reporting.
Thanks so much, T. That was super helpful, and the walkthrough has been fantastic. So from an iKhokha accounting perspective, when you sign up on your iKhokha dashboard, you actually get access to a whole suite of additional features within your stub account. So you'll see once you've signed up to iKhokha accounting, you'll get a welcome mail from iKhokha, and a couple of hours later, you'll get a welcome mail from stub. And within that account, you get access to, because not a bunch of you have answered the question on the side chat, I can't tell how many of you have existing accounting software or Excels, but I will just assume that you guys have seen some sort of level of accounting software. So if you think of things like managing your assets, so if you buy a car or a camera or a hairdryer or anything that you use to create or do your service or manage your products, you can add those assets within your stub account and we'll manage the depreciation for you on your behalf, as an example. You can also add receipts to your expenses. So a couple of weeks ago, we actually ran a workshop with a bunch of young entrepreneurs in South Africa. And one of the questions were around receipts. And often when you spend money on your business accounts, you should be keeping those receipts. It's really important from a tax perspective later on in your journey. And one customer asked us, if I buy my supplies or raw materials or something from an informal trader or from someone who doesn't necessarily have a receipt machine or invoices or etc., what must I do? And the response was, just make sure that you or the shop owner has written you a receipt to say how much has been spent and what has been bought. So it's important things like that you can upload into your stub account. We also allow you to track and manage your VAT. So if you are a VAT registered business, you can now track that within your stub accounting dashboard. And there's often times where you've made a mistake in your accounting records where you have an accountant who needs to go in and fix one or two things. They can also do manual journal entries within their stub account, within your stub account. I think going back to T's question around categorization and why it's super important to categorize your income and your expenses on your iKhokha dashboard, you'll see a little bit later when Mark and Tawanda start taking you through the reports. But this transaction as an example, if you click on those three dots and you categorize that transaction, you'll now see that your reports and your charts on your dashboard are now starting to draw a picture of where's that money coming from and where's that money going. And that becomes really important from a reporting perspective further down the line.
Thanks, Taylor, for that. And I think from a business perspective, if you're trying to optimize for cutting down costs and increasing profits, then I think it makes sense because from the categories, you can then determine where are my biggest expenses coming from, and then try and optimize in that area. And then from an income perspective as well, if you know that majority of your income is coming from sales, then it means you need to double down on that to grow your business. So you can then almost push and pull, right? You're reducing the expenses and you're increasing what brings the most money in your business, which would be almost impossible to tell in a spreadsheet without having to do multiple formulas and calculations. So that information is presented to you in the dashboard. It's doing all the crunching of the data in the back, and you just have to connect your bank account. Categorize the transaction. Like we said, the system will learn over time, so you're not going to be having to do this for the same transactions. Once you've categorized and it knows what that transaction is, it can always do it automatically going forward.
There's a little bit of a question, and I think it's an interesting one. Arinka is asking us, obviously she's talking about the fact that our systems talk to each other, and the sales via the card and the app and the dashboard, you can label the specific sales. And the question is, does this mean that the individual products loaded into the dashboard will be tracked via the accounting system, or will it be labeled as sales for the entire day?
I can take that because I've been looking at it on my side as well, and what I wanted to see was the sales that I make on iKhokha side. How does it actually reflect on this side? So do you want to just maybe show me do that, right? Because I'm trying to figure out the same thing as Renko is trying to figure out, right? Do all of my sales from the sales history side just pull through automatically, or where do I actually see what I've made on the iKhokha side?
Yeah, 100%. So we obviously didn't want you having to manually add your, in this case, payouts, which would ultimately count as your sales on your books manually from systems that are within the same platform. So this is all automated. So as you receive payouts, we are adding it to your income, and we are taking the fees that were charged for those payouts and adding them as your expenses. So that's happening automatically. And I think if you look at Mark in your income, there should be a settlement with a reference there. A transaction with an individual receipt number. If you go to your sales history for that same day, you should be able to find that exact transaction to show that it was synced across to your accounting dashboard.
Cool. Let me have a look at that. Let's maybe just keep a reference of it's 0031. That's the receipt number. We'll come back to that in a second, but I just want to see where the expense is. So if I go to the expense side, there it is, 0031. So is that the fees that was associated with that transaction?
That's correct. That's correct. Okay. So we basically break it down to that level. We're not really grouping it as one big payout, although ultimately that's what it looks like in your bank account or when it arrives in your bank account. But from a reporting perspective, each sale needs to be reported individually. So that's basically what's being reflected here.
Okay. And so in the past, what I'd have to do is I'd have to go and take that one lump sum that I'm getting from iKhokha and then manually do the recons on my own with all of the transactions that are in that payout, right? To then recon, like, did this receipt actually get included in this payout? Like, what was the total amount that I received versus like what were the expenses? And so this is automatically done from the moment I sign up to accounting. Is that where it happens?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what happens, because I've now connected my bank account, so is there going to be duplicate entries or what's there?
Yeah, that's a great question and something we spent a lot of time thinking about. But basically, the system who can match those transactions, because these two systems are connected. iKhokha can tell us that, okay, here's all these transactions that were paid out. And then when we sync your bank account, we can then match them and say, okay, this amount is related to this payout. So then we don't really double add it as income. So that's all happening under the hood. So yeah, you won't see duplicate transactions. So once that payment gets to your bank, we will know it was related to your settlement.
Okay. Okay, that's amazing. That's great news, because I was just worried that I was going to have to sit with a bunch of duplicate entries and then have to do more admin. So the view here is really just the goal here is to like figure out like how much money is coming into my business and how much money is going out, right? And then I've got this view here, which is really just like a graph of all the cash flows. So that'll be the money coming in and money going out, and then it just automatically calculates my profit. So maybe just it's this for me is such an important number, right? Because you know, if my side hustle does really well, I can retire from iKhokha and carry on with the rest of my life. So how do I make sure that this is all tracking correctly?
That's a good question. Taylor, maybe I can give that to you. Give it a stab.
Mark, could you just repeat it? I'm so sorry.
Cool. So what I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing correctly, right, is the profit view that I have here, right? So if I take this a little bit further back, let's say maybe I go to July and I have a look at the profit here. It's quite low. My side hustle is still really getting started, right? So I don't have a lot of sales from a perspective. I see they're automatically categorized. So does all of this income and expenses just automatically populate in this profit graph, and it calculates everything for me?
Yeah, definitely. So I think from a stub and iKhokha perspective, whatever actions you do will automatically update your profit widgets, your cash flow widgets, your income and expense charts in real time. And I think as we move a little bit further through this walkthrough, you'll see how that then translates into your monthly reports. And I think that's really cool. So all of the actions that you are doing and everything that you're tracking will continuously update in real time. So you get an accurate view of what's going on in your business.
Okay. That's amazing, because you know, I don't always have the time to come and do this, right? And knowing that it's being done automatically for me is a big weight off my shoulders, right? It's a lot less admin for me to do. So let's maybe go into the reports now. Before
we move on to the reports, there
Sure.
are a couple of questions, and
Okay.
one I think we probably dropped the ball on and explaining quite clearly is, what is stub, and do I need a different system to access this accounting platform? I obviously know the answer, but I'm going to throw it out to any one of you three to pick up that question. That what is stub, and do we need a third-party system for it?
Cool. Maybe we can dovetail that one, Taylor, and I can show
Happy to take the lead.
And then because I think it's really important that we answer it very clearly and everyone understands like the full package, right? And why we've put some of the stuff here and what the full package looks like. Okay, so Stub is our partner. They're a homegrown startup in South Africa. They provide accounting solutions, and we have integrated with them to enable all of our merchants to view these accounting products and manage their finances on the iKhokha dashboard. So what you're viewing here is everything is integrated into the dashboard. You don't need to use an additional system to manage your finances. What we've done is really give you the top level metrics on the dashboard. So it's really easy for you to understand. It's easy for you to access a view of your cash flow, for you to view your profit in your business. It's important that you can view income and expenses, because that pulls through from your iKhokha payouts. And we want you to categorize those transactions so that they flow into your profit view. So then that's automatically calculated for you. And what I'll do now is I'm gonna talk about the reports, but I'd like to hand over to Taylor. So Taylor, you can maybe just talk the bigger picture. Like, what are the advanced features we have in? What is the full package that our merchants get?
So I'm going to just touch on the question from a little bit earlier, just to draw the sort of round loop and then go into reports, Mark, just briefly after. So I think
Sure.
just to help from a context point of view is stub is sort of the technology behind the iK accounting piece. So if you're using iK accounting, you're already using stub. So you don't have to set up a separate account. And we're not needing you to go to both systems. So I think it's 90% of the work you do, you'll be able to do on your iK dashboard. And if you don't need anything more, you don't have to access anything more. But if you need additional accounting features, like we mentioned briefly earlier, like adding receipts to expenses or adding an asset to an asset register because you want to track depreciation. And a lot of these words can seem foreign and just way out there, which is also okay. So if you want to stay on your dashboard, on your iK dashboard, and you don't need any of that stuff I'm talking about, that's also perfect. But if you get to a point in your business as you grow, or if you work with an accountant or a finance expert or someone that comes to you and asks for something that sounds a little bit more like an accounting feature and something that's maybe a little bit more complex, you can head to Stub because it's probably there for you. So instead of going to look for another accounting software, just log into your Stub account and you'll find all of your information and what you need there. So you don't have to use both systems all the time. It's more just if you need it, it's there. Sorry, Mark, I thought that might be helpful. And then leading into the reports, let's have a look at them. So we spoke briefly a little bit earlier around reporting and how reports can be super helpful. And I think reports and reporting and financial reports have often been seen as just a static tool that is not useful, and finance people ask for them. But I think they're really important when it comes to understanding what's going on in your business. And you'll see as you start using iK accounting more and more, these reports will evolve for you. So Mark's opened the P&L, the profit and loss statement for his rental business. And what you'll see is there's a breakdown of his income over time. There'll be expenses, and overall it will see your operating profit. So how much money has your business made once all of the money's come in and all of the expenses have gone out? So pretty much how much is left over from a profit perspective. You'll see that these reports are going to evolve over time. So you can actually start drilling down into the information to see specific examples around this. You'll also be able to download these reports. So if you ever need to take your profit and loss report to the bank, for an example, to go and get credit, you can download your reports in a PDF version or in a CSV version, which is also super helpful.
Cool. And what's also super cool, guys, is you can see my profit from October is there's my profit amount to 2014 Rand, and that's seamlessly available on the profit and loss statement. So I don't need to jump between platforms and populate different spreadsheets or try and export and import things into other accounting software. It's all happening for me, right? And it's all the work that I'm doing over here is starting to bear fruit in the reports that I'm seeing over here. So I really hope that answers the question that was posed, right, around like what it is and how it comes together, right? We've really tried to make it as easy as possible for people to view this page and to view the data. If you want to sync your bank account, what we've done there as well is instead of automatically syncing and getting an SMS every day that sort of freaks you out because you're not on your bank account. We're encouraging you. You'll have to come back here and sync it every day, right? So it is user driven. It's just a simple process of clicking the sync button, and if you have multi-factor authentication enabled, you'll have to enter a one-time password. Again, this is all just regular bank security, right? So I feel really comfortable doing this. If it didn't work this way, I'd be a little worried if I was getting an SMS and it was, at around in the evening and I'm not actually on my internet banking. That might freak me out and I might report that to the bank as fraud. So that's one of the cool features that I've also picked up. I mean, for me, it's the other thing I just want to sort of really respond to is, I think the person was asking us, what about products? If I load my products onto the dash, do they automatically pull through to the accounting side? The products themselves will not pull through to the accounting side. What it does is it's looking at the income that goes into your business, right? So it's not going to pull in every sale amount unless it is included in a payout, because it's at that point in time that it's now gone into your business, and it becomes part of your business finances, right? The inventory management side is more on the iKhokha dashboard, but we could expand it over time. Look at that becoming a feature that is possibly available through this integration. For this timing, the integration is really focused on payouts, and really enabling us to manage that quite easily through income and expenses. There were other parts of this. I think I just want to sort of ask Taylor to explain. Do you want to take them through the cash flow statement? Because I think that'd be another really great report to have a look at and kind of just talk through.
Sure, we can go through all of the reports just briefly. That sounds good. So I think from a cash flow perspective, this will show you all of the cash that's coming into your business and all of the cash that's going out of your business at any point in time. So this is super helpful to help you plan for upcoming expenses, to make sure you have enough cash on hand when something's coming your way. And it's just a really sort of useful report at any point in time. I think what's more helpful for an everyday perspective is probably the cash flow chart on your iKhokha dashboard. So you'll see there's a chart there that shows you an amount. So this is super helpful to see where it's coming from and where it's going. But that amount, whether positive or negative, will be like, am I in a good place or not at the moment? And what should I be doing? And where can I be looking to see what's going on? I think also, Mark, on the profit, you can see the balance sheet as well. I don't know if you maybe want to open that as well.
Cool. Yeah, let's have a look at that.
So from your iKhokha dashboard, you can also access your balance sheet. And this report pretty much shows you how much you owe or own at any point in time. So you'll be able to see how much money your business owns or owes, how much money your business owes to anyone, or how much money is owed to you at any point in time. And that's also super helpful when you're trying to understand, is there any money that is still owed to this business, or is there any money outstanding that I still need to pay someone?
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
There are a couple of questions, and I think now feels like an opportune time to ask them. And some of them are from Shavani, asking if one wants to see how your business is performing over a period of a few months, is it possible to get that into the dashboard? Can you see that over a period of time? And then a follow-on question from that, can you also get a comparison like you do from 1 month to the next? Is that data going to pull in as well?
Shivani, I think you're looking at your possibly your income and expenses or your cash flow. At the moment, it's really on a month-by-month basis. So you're looking at the current month here. You'll have to basically toggle between the months to look at it on a month view. We have the comparisons at the moment, but what you can see here is some insights around your cash flow. So this really talks around the comparison but this month and the last month. So you'll see it's in green, and that means that my cash flows increased by 2,009 Rand compared to last month. My profit has also increased by 2,014 Rand compared to last month. So there are these little insights that are a comparison between the current month and the previous month. But I think what you're looking for is perhaps like a side-by-side view, or perhaps like being able to select a couple of months and have them on the same cash flow graph.
Mark, can I jump in here?
Sure.
Just briefly. So I think, Shivani, fantastic question. And I think probably what sparked it was when we opened the P&L and you only saw 1 month. Because I think generally that is a report that you use with a month-and-month comparison. So you're 100% spot on. And from a feature perspective, we're definitely looking at adding month-on-month comparisons within the reports. So when you come to your iCare dashboard, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, I think we'll write down your name. And once we've deployed the feature where you see the month-on-month comparison, we'll come back to you and ask you to log into your iCare dashboard and ask if this was what you're looking for. But 100%. So generally, when you look at a P&L and you look at a profit and loss, you actually do want to see 3 months next to each other. So you'll see that this report will evolve over time, and you'll be able to look at October, need to work backwards, October, September, August, next to each other. And we spoke a little bit earlier around the drill downs into those line items. And hopefully over time, when you come back here, you'll be able to drill down into your specific sales, into your merchant fees, into everything. So that will come. Great question. Not there yet, but hopefully soon.
But keep asking the questions, because I think this is also
Definitely.
an indication for us to what you guys need and what we need to build next, right? While we're on the topic, I just quickly want to clarify some of the rate questions coming up. So we have our standard card machine rates, which starts at 2.5%, which we will charge. For our online rates, we have a 2.85% rate. And then to access the accounting software platform, that's a fee of 189 excluding VAT per month. So hopefully that clarifies that question. Thanks. Are we done with the demo, or do we still have some demo left?
I'm just at some of the other questions around just ask, like, can you add your own categories? So do you want to maybe just talk about that, Taylor? Income and expense categories.
Yes, of course. So I think this is an interesting one, because if we look at categories, there's so many that you could add here, which then often makes a system feel a little bit complex. So what we've tried to do is keep this as simple as possible. But over the past couple of weeks, we've actually had a bunch of customers come and ask us if they can add custom categories. So I think, Pauline, if we could also maybe take your name down and just sort of chat to you around what sort of categories you're looking for, because we're currently building a customizable chart of accounts, and chart of accounts is a scary accounting word, but pretty much customizable categories. So you can add the categories that work for your business, but it would be good to sense check with you if what we've built or are building would work for your use case. So not at the moment, but again, coming soon.
Thanks, Taylor. I think we are almost running out of time. We have 4 minutes left, and there are more questions I think that we can answer live. So I think some of these we might have to answer in the chat. Just the final one I want to reply to is Becky Temba, because I think, first of all, thank you for the compliment. It's comforting to know that you're enjoying the features that we're releasing and the products that we're building. It's obviously what we get out of bed for daily. So that confirmation Makes me want to get out of bed again tomorrow. But Becky Timber says they sign up for other software for their products and quotes and invoicing for the time being. Just so you know, you can also do some of that in our software. You can see the My Products and Services. Do they have the ability to load products into iKhokha and the cost quotes and invoicing, and then still bring this data, still see this level of information?
Yeah, if I could take that around the products and the invoicing. So definitely have that available at the moment. I'm looking at products and services, so you can load your products and all of your services here, and you can use our online tools. So you've got invoicing, so you can create invoices and load your product to our invoices, right? We've also got on the store side, you can create pay links, which is a great way to get digital payments. So once you loaded your products and services, you go over to the pay link side, and you can sell your products and services here, and that enables you to create a pay link and then add the products and services from your catalog. And once you've done them, you can, if I could just walk through this quickly, because I think it's something that will be really helpful for you. Once you've done that, you're going to add the name there. So I'll call this webinar. And what's really great about this is you can ask customers to add delivery if you need to. It's not required, but you can also create this link and you can send it via WhatsApp or email, or you can you can send it with a QR code, but I mean, sending a link via WhatsApp is a great way to actually facilitate that digital payment. Once you've created that, you can then come through to the order management side. And on this side, I created one of these earlier on. You can look at the order that you created with all of the products and services, and you can view that. You can see I created this much earlier today. There's also an order status, which is great, which I think feeds really well into what you need to do. And there are order details with the quantity. And this again feeds into your process. So once this payment is received, then it goes into our payouts process, and all of those payouts go into the payout history and automatically back into your accounting widgets, which will be your income and expenses. So I think the only thing we're missing there is quotations, but when it comes down to products and being able to manage them on the dashboard with services and invoicing, all of that is your question.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. We're at the top of the hour, so and there are so many questions I'm dying to answer live, but I know that we'll probably be sitting here all night. One last question. Once I've sent an invoice, once I've issued an invoice, can I edit it? Once the invoice has been issued?
I don't think you can edit it. I haven't come across an option where you can actually edit it. I think that
reissuing might be a better option, right?
Yeah, issuing would be a much better option, right? It would just an unpaid status, and I guess that would form negatively in your age analysis because you'd have a bunch of unpaid invoices, but you can't cancel the invoice. So, but it's something that I know that the team has spoken about a number of times and that they are working on, because this really feeds into the ability to, get a deposit payment on invoice or amend an invoice or something like that. But yeah, we don't have that available at the moment, unfortunately.
Good. I'm going to have to unfortunately stop asking questions. I think we've run out of time. But I really enjoyed this conversation. This was interesting, despite the fact that accounting is by far not my favorite topic. I did find this informative and enjoyed following the the conversation and how our business owners can organize their information and get some more visibility into their business. I think often knowing what comes in is all fun and games, but knowing where you're spending your money is just as important. So thank you for sharing that information with us this evening. For everyone listening, we will also probably be sending a recording of this so you can get some more information. If you've forgotten anything or if you want to remind yourself of how to navigate, we will post the recording out to you. And thank you so much for joining.
iKhokha.